counting down the top 10 first issues for Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. Hey everyone, it's vmcampos, comic book fan. Welcome to another episode of the weekly vmcampos Comic Book Club. This is a series where I count down the top 10 first issues debuting this week on New Comic Book Day. This is episode number 267 for May 5th, 2021. Feliz Cinco de Mayo. Let's talk about some comic books. If you enjoyed the video, consider pressing the join button here on YouTube. In the meantime, let's get on with the comics. Starting at number 10, I picked Star Wars Bounty Hunters Alpha #1. With a title that long, you know it's gotta be good. But with Boba Fett on the cover, you've noticed it's gotta be even gooder. That's not a word. But this is the prelude. This is the War of the Bounty Hunters event that's going on through a variety of Star Wars comics over at Marvel. This is Prelude Precious Cargo. Written by Charles Soule and art by Steve McNiven. The Star Wars comic event you've been waiting for. The notorious bounty hunter Boba Fett has finally ended his greatest prize, Han Solo, frozen in carbonite for easy transport. Sounds easy, what could go wrong? Alright, so we're getting here the story of what happened after the end of The Empire Strikes Back, and the defeat of the rebels, the capture of Han Solo in carbonite here before Return of the Jedi. Stuff is always happening between the movies. There's so many comic books and novels that fill in all the details, and here's another one that does that over here at Marvel Comics. At number 9, always get the cosplay covers, as a wise man once said. So over at Dynamite, I picked Invincible Red Sonja #1. Now I'm going for the cosplay cover, but there's a variety of variants. This is written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, and we've got interior art by Maratat and various covers. Written by award-winning fan favorites Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti, Red Sonja finds herself in a spectacular journey filled with pirates, mermaids, princesses, and political intrigue as the thread of two kingdoms hangs in the balance. So it's a new Red Sonja story. It's a great jumping on point. I've always enjoyed Palmiotti and Connor's work. It's pretty cool here to have them team up in a different sort of character than they usually work with. I often see them working like with Harley Quinn and such. So we're going to see a cool take on the She-Devil with a sword, Red Sonja, over at Dynamite. At number 8, let's move over to Dark Horse Comics, and I've picked the Orville Digressions #1 of 2. So this is interesting. Usually we have 4 parts, 9 parts, whatever. This is 2 parts, so this fills in the story between the seasons. And if you enjoy the TV show like I do, this is a nice bit of filling in the plots. Written by David Goodman and art by David Capessa. Travel, the road not taken, in this prequel to the Season 2 finale written by Orville executive producer David Goodman. Follow Ed Kelly and the would-have-been crew of the Orville as they navigate separate lives in an alternate timeline that's on a collision course with the galaxy-ending Kalon. So I remember when the Orville debuted at the same time as Star Trek Discovery. I kind of liked the Orville better because it felt like more Star Trek-y than the official Star Trek at the time. History has shown that, yeah, first season of Discovery wasn't that great. Subsequent seasons are okay, a little bit better. We're kind of seeing the same thing with Picard. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of the new Trek stuff? I'm not a big fan of it, but you do you. All Star Trek is good. The correct answer, though, is Star Trek Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek of all. And the Orville Star Trek adjacent is a pretty good amount of Star Trek. So tell me what you think about that in the comments. Let's move over to American Writers and Artisans, AWA Upshot, for number 7 on the list. Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal. This is written by Garth Ennis, art by Goran Sudzuka, and this is the cover art by Andy Clark. There's a couple of varying covers. She's Marjorie Finnegan. She's a temporal criminal. What more do you need to know? And the description goes on to talk about her exploits as a dimension-hopping criminal that gets into a lot of shenanigans. This seems like a really fun romp with a female-focused lead character just jumping through different dimensions and time and all that fun stuff. So, brand new issue #1 of 8 from AWA. At number 6, I picked Boom Studios' Eve #1, written by Victor Laval, art by Joe Migyong, cover art by AWA Anindito. This is a post-apocalyptic sort of story When the ice caps melted, most humanity was lost to the hidden diseases that were released. Now a mysterious girl named Eve has awoken in secret and must deal with a world that's nothing like the virtual reality she was raised in. Will she be able to restore this dying planet? So we've got the main character, we've got the little teddy bear character as well. We've got a variant cover that is also very evocative. This one's by Mirka Andolfo. Little bear character look a little bit more evil. And this one seems very interesting to me. This post-apocalyptic, sci-fi sort of thing. Can't wait to check it out from Boom Studios. It's only 5 issues, so a nice compact story that should be a great one to get in on the ground floor. I like the nature right here of destroyed cities and such, and she's paddling with like a stop sign and the water below that. It's very evocative, but they're determined, and I'm determined to check out this comic as well. Now, I'm sorry everyone, but I know I always talk about the top 10 first issues debuting this week, but I've got an issue number 0, so close enough here. Titan Comics brings us V.E. Schwab's Extraordinary, written by V.E. Schwab and art by Enid Balam. Brand new series expands deeper into the world of Schwab's critically acclaimed novels Vicious and Vengeful. Set in the years between Vicious and Vengeful, Extraordinary follows a teenage girl named Charlotte Tills who survives a bus crash and becomes EO, gaining the ability to see people's deaths in reflective surfaces. So, interesting twist on the I see your future sort of thing. This is in the surfaces. Now this is only $1, so how can you pass that up to get started on an issue number 0 prelude to a new comic series coming out? This is from Titan Comics. This is from Entertainment Weekly's 27 female authors who rule sci-fi and fantasy. So there's no reason to not check it out. At number 4, we've got Scout Comics' imprint, Black Caravans, Broken Souls Ballad, number 1. This is written by Massimo Rossi and art by Ludovica Ceregatti. St. Abigail's Institute creates monsters, and those monsters are teenagers. Well, isn't that redundant? The story begins as several teens discover that they possess out-of-the-ordinary abilities, in each case related to their psychosomatic conditions. The resulting trauma caused by this horrifying discovery leads them to stray from their normal teenage lives, some to seek answers, others in a desperate attempt to escape their terrible fate. Now this cover right here is what sold me. We've got this horrific, this body horror sort of aspect of things, the scary institution back there, the teenager transforming into a beast, beautiful colors, these sort of 80s style of colors, I would say, twisted expression of anguish, and then like the drool from the creature. Obviously, in the world of the comics, you can't judge a book by its cover, and I'm thinking that this cover is an amazing one that really stands out. And what's good is that the cover artist is also the interior artist, so I think we're in for some good things in this first issue. Now, real talk. In light of the recent Asian American violence that has gripped our nation, I think one way that we can get past prejudices, xenophobia, and racism is to follow the old adage of walking a mile in someone else's shoes, putting yourself in someone else's place. As such, by simply opening yourself up to more cultures, more people, more experiences, you gain a better understanding of the world around us that we're all a part of. In one small way, reading about the experiences of another culture then is a good thing. For number 3, I picked Image Comics' The Good Asian number 1 of 9. It is written by Parnsak Pinchet Chote, art by Alexandre Tefenki, and there's a cover art by Dave Johnson. This is the long-awaited follow-up to the critically acclaimed Infidel. We follow Edison Hark, a haunted, self-loathing Chinese-American detective on the trail of a killer in 1936 Chinatown. It's a noir comic from an Asian perspective that is sure to go down as an important comic book. Get in on the ground floor of it. It's debuting this week. I recommend it. At number 2, I picked Mad Cave Studios' BECSTAR number 1, a more of an escapist fare, written by Joe Corallo and art by Lorenzo Colangeli. This is the Sweeney Boo cover. I love Sweeney Boo's art. It's a very cool cartoony style. BECSTAR is a star-hopping mercenary, gone full-time gambler light years away from Earth, leaving her old life behind with the help of her magical luck dagger and her fan-turned-regret-filled friend, Sally Sulin. BECSTAR ekes out a living under the nefarious Shadow Syndicate radar. So a space epic, female-focused cast, very cool art, something new from a smaller publisher out there, perhaps flying under the radar. Hopefully I made you hip to them, Mad Cave Studios. And my number one pick for this week is Marvel Comics Heroes Reborn, number 1 of 7. It had to be it, the big event that is gripping the Marvel Universe. It's a world without the Avengers. Welcome to the world where Tony Stark never built an Iron Man armor, where Thor is a hard-drinking atheist who despises hammers, where Wakanda is dismissed as a myth, and where Captain America was never found in the ice because there were no Avengers to find him. Instead, this world has been protected by Earth's mightiest heroes, the Squadron Supreme of America, and now the Squadron faces an attack from some of their fiercest enemies, like Dr. Juggernaut, the Black Skull, and Silver Witch. The Silver Witch and Thanos with his infinity rings, but why is the Daywalker Blade, the one man alive who seems to remember the entire world, has somehow been reborn? I kinda love this mixing of classic Marvel Comics characters and storylines, throwing it in a blender, getting a new version of things. Dr. Juggernaut, isn't that so evocative? No, that's not Wonder Woman, that's the Silver Witch. But I like this concept of this big what if, and this is a 7-issue mini-series that is kind of shaping the Marvel Universe in a different way. There's a few variant covers that I like. These are the Mark Bagley variant covers. These are the Marvel Universe card series that I used to collect back in the 90s. I love the style. This was a big collage. I believe it was volume 4, the 1994 or so. Marvel cards that you would make a collage, 9 out of them on one page, and they all made this very cool collage. So there's Mephisto, there's also Blade of this alternate reality. These are all by one of my favorite artists back in the 90s, Mark Bagley. So a brand new story, throw everything in a blender, get something new and interesting. ARTGERM cover here, what's not to like for number 1? So that was my top 10 list for this week. I picked a lot of interesting books, but what do you think? Which ones did I get right? Which ones did I get wrong? Which ones did I miss? Should this be a top 15 list? Tell me all about it in the comments. And what about non-issue number 1s? What do you think I should have mentioned? Tell me all about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, battle the Minotaur, do all that good stuff to keep up to date with everything that I do on YouTube. And if you enjoy the YouTube, consider pressing that join button to become part of the VMC crew. At the 99-cent tier, you'll join the Mars Rover tier, where you'll unlock exclusive content here on the YouTube, such as longer videos, exclusive giveaways, polls, contests, other cool stuff for 99 cents. You can go to the higher tiers if you're interested to get more stuff. Just click join and it'll tell you all about it there. If you can't pledge at the moment, no worries. Simply like, comment, follow, share, all that good stuff. And I'd really appreciate you telling me what you thought about this episode. This has been the weekly VM Campos Comic Book Club, and I'll see you next week.